See the problem. Prepare a flexible budget for the production of at 80% 8,000 units on the basis of the following information. So we should identify 80% units on that on See the problem. Prepare a flexible budget for the production at 80% on the basis on the following information. On the basis of following information, we should identify for 80% what is the total cost and what is the cost per unit. Production at 50% capacity of 5,000 units, they have given information. Raw materials 80 per unit, direct labor 50 per unit, direct expenses 20 per unit, factory expenses rupees 50,000, in that 50% is fixed, administrative expenses rupees 30,000, in that 40% variable. So we should prepare flexible budget for 80%. So first one, you consider raw materials. So raw materials. So cost per unit they have given for 5,000 units. So consider 80 per unit. In the same way, direct labor they have given. Direct labor 50 per unit. The same way, direct expenses. Expenses they given how much? 20 per unit. Next one, they have given factory expenses rupees 50,000, in that 50% is fixed. So factory expenses, in that 50% is fixed. So 50% is fixed. So 50% fixed means remaining 50% variable. So how much amount they have given? They have given 50,000. So 50,000 into 50% means, so get 25,000. In the same way, remaining 50% is variable. So variable, so 50,000 into 50 divided by 100, variable also 25,000. Next one, administrative expenses. So consider administration expenses. So administration expenses, in that they're saying 30,000 that one, in that 40% is variable, remaining 60% will be fixed. So fixed how much? In 100, they're saying 40% is variable means remaining 60% will be fixed. So 60% fixed. So how much amount they have given? 30,000. In that 60% is fixed. So you'll get 18,000. So write down 18,000. Next one, 60% fixed means 40% variable. So 40% variable. So 30,000 into 40 divided by 100. 40 divided by 100. So how much you will get? You will get 12,000. 12,000 will be your variable amount. So now you multiply 80, they have given for raw material, they have given 80 per unit. So 80 into 5,000. So here 80 into 5,000, so you'll get 4 lakh rupees. So in the same way, 50 into 5,000 units, you will get 2,50,000. The same way, 20 into 5,000 units, get 1 lakh. You will get 1 lakh. So for this, we know amount. Total cost we know. We should identify cost per unit for 25,000. So how will I identify? So I'll write here working note number 1. I'll do it here working note number 1. So 25,000 divided by number of units is 5. So we'll get 5. Cost per unit is 5. In the same way, for this also variable also you'll get same cost per unit 5. So you do it for administrative expenses. 18,000 is total amount. This you consider working note number 2. Working note number 2, we should identify cost per unit. So how we will identify? So 18,000 working note number 2 divided by 5,000. So we get 3.6. In the same way, you identify for this also. So for this you will get 2.4. Like this, we should identify cost per. So we know for 5,000 units what is the total cost and what is the cost per unit also we know. So take the total of this. Take the total. So you'll get total. This will be 8,30,001.66. And for 80% we should identify. So how do you identify for 80%? So see here, you consider this as working note number 3. So working note number 3, how to identify for 8,000 units, how to identify total cost and cost per unit. So for 5,000 units, if it is 4 lakhs means for 8,000 units, how much we should identify. So for 5,000 units, it is 4 lakhs means 4 lakhs divided by 5,000 into for 8,000 units, how much? 8,000 units, how much? So you get 6,40,000. So is equal to 6,40,000 here you will get. In the same way, you identify for direct labor. So this you consider working note number 3. This you consider working note number 4. So working note number 4, direct labor. If we see, they have given 2,50,000. We identify for 2,50,000. If it is for 5,000 means for 8,000 how much? For 8,000 how much? You get 4 lakhs. So 4 lakhs. In the same way, working note number, consider this as working note number 5, direct expenses. You consider working note number 5, direct expenses. So 1 lakh divided by 5,000 into 8,000. So you get 1,60,000. 1,60,000. Done. So like that we should identify. Next one, if you see fixed cost. So fixed cost is fixed in nature. It will not change. If output changes also, the cost will be remain constant. It will not change. Fixed cost is fixed irrespective of output changes also. So fixed cost is 25,000 only here. And here also fixed cost is fixed. So 18,000. 18,000 is fixed, it will not change. So You identify variable cost. Variable cost, same way we should identify. This you consider working out number 6. So 6 variable cost is how much? 25,000 for 5,000 units means for 8,000 units how much? So you will get 40,000. Here you get 40,000, right? 40,000. The same way here also is a variable cost. If it is 12,000 means for 8,000 units how much? This you consider working mode number 7. So 12,000 divided by 5,000 into 8,000. So 12,000 divided by 5,000 into 8,000. So you get 19,200. So 19,200. So in the same way you identify cost per unit. So 6,40,000 divided by 8,000. So you get 80. Here 4 lakhs divided by 8,000. So you'll get 50. In the same way 1,60,000 divided by 8,000, you'll get 20 cost per unit. Here 25,000 divided by 8,000. So 25,000 divided by 8,000 means you'll get 3.12. Here 40,000 divided by 8,000 means you'll get 5 only. And here fixed cost. So 18,000 divided by 8,000 means you'll get 2.25. In the same way here 19,200 divided by 8,000 you'll get 2.4. So take the total. This is we should take total. Take total. So you'll get 13 lakhs 2,200. So here you will get 162.77. Like this we should prepare a flexible budget for 80% or 8,000 units.